Today is a story time on how I found out that I was adopted. Yes, you guys, I know I'm always just seeing you guys about one thing that happened between me and one man. I'm always talking about man when it's my story time, but this one is a different one. It's family drama, so watcha. To my channel. So if you're new here, my name is Dekan and I make videos like this one. Basically on this channel you will find lifestyle and skincare content, and I try to post videos 2 times a week on this channel. During the week I post skincare videos like DIY, skin advice, recommendations, product reviews and those sort of skincare stuff. And then during the weekend I post entertaining videos like vlogs, story times like this one, and I don't know, just whatever comes to my mind, you know, anything entertaining for the weekend. So as you can see, my channel is both educating and entertaining at the same time. So please, if you're new here, do you think you want to subscribe? Please subscribe. As much as I'm not forcing you to subscribe, but please subscribe. Meanwhile, I really want to thank you guys, like my new subscribers and also my old subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I was just saying how my channel was gonna grow to 2,000, and before I'm filming this video we are on 2,500, or as I'm filming this video we are on 2,500. So guess what, you guys, I have a big family going on here. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Cheers to more subscribers. I believe before this year runs out, it might be like big dreams, but I believe before this year runs out we're going to get to 10k. 10k. I'm trusting you guys to get to 10k before the end of this year. And you guys, I've made a resolution, a mid-year resolution, to be smiling a lot. I find that people's smile sort of brighten up my own mood, so I don't know if I can also be doing that for other people, so I'm going to be shining my teeth a lot. So yeah, I do hope I have a beautiful smile though. Do I? Again with my water. I'm sure by now you guys can spot this cup from anywhere. So yeah, today is a story time on how I found out that I was adopted. Yes, how I found out I was adopted. Trust me, it's an interesting story, dramatic. You might want to grab your popcorn again. I'm sure my stories get you grabbing your popcorn, so just go and grab it right now on time. I'll wait. And yeah, let's begin the story. Anyway, so story time of the century again. Ta-na-na-na-na. Okay, you guys, so it happened when I was I think I was about 6-7 years old. Yeah. So first of all, let me give you a little bit of background. You know, when you're growing up and you're doing a lot of stubborn things and probably your mom is really beating you up or scolding you a lot of the time, because obviously you're a kid and then you're making a lot of mistakes and all. So yeah, my mom used to scold me a lot and sometimes beat me up and all. So but my dad never used to beat me up, or like, oh yeah, my dad never beat me up. So sometimes when my mom would scold me or hit me, I would feel like she's overreacting, because obviously as a child, obviously like you shouldn't hit your kids and all, like, I don't know, that's a topic for another day. But then like I would feel like she's totally overreacting, and I would feel like there's another motive as to why she was hitting me or whatever. So yeah, not hitting, like, but my mom used to smack. Like she used to smack, I think I'm using an extreme word, she used to smack my butt and my back a lot. Like she would land you one slap on the back. So yeah, that used to happen. So I obviously like had my reservations about my mom, because out of the both parents she was like the only one that used to discipline me the most. My dad was disciplined, but then my dad is the one that we feared. Like he didn't have to beat you for you to fear him, but my mom, like she used beatings to get us to be scared, like, of doing like bad things. So yeah, so when I was young also, I was sort of like, let me not say daddy's favorite, but I was like the youngest girl in the house, so I had daddy's heart, you know. So like when my siblings wanted something, they would come through me, they would ask me to go and ask daddy for something, or like I was just like the favorite, like I was the, I'm sure you get the drill. In like my family hierarchy, there's like a boy before me, so my brother before me. So I used to get my brother into a lot of trouble when we were like growing up, I confess. I used to get my brother into a lot of trouble. Like if we did something together, we were very close, like we were neatly close. But then, like, when I got into trouble or when I did something, if they come, since I was like the perfect child, like I did no bad, you know, like in my daddy's eyes, or sometimes in my mommy's eye too, like they thought I was not capable of something. So sometimes when I do something wrong and then they come and ask me, who did this thing, I don't even think twice. I point to my brother. My brother actually suffered, I won't lie. So like, if there was anything wrong, who did this? If my brother is watching this, he'll be like, hey, so you know what you used to do to me. So anyway, so that used to happen a lot, and then my brother will end up being deceived, and I will actually lie, like I'll hold on to my lie and be like he's the one that did it. Then later I'll go and apologize to him after they beat him. But sometimes they used to find out that I was lying, so they will beat me too, that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then if they find out that you're lying, sorry, the beatings is going to increase. So I used to like be scared of the outcome of them actually finding out that I was lying. So I kind of hold on to my lie. So anyways, that was it. Anyway, so one day I had done something and then I did the same thing to my brother again. They came and asked who did this thing, and I said it was my brother. So I think my brother had it up to like his neck, like he was done with me. So after like a couple of days, I didn't know that this boy was still not happy with me. Like I'm sure he was feeling bad. Like that was really terrible of me as a then, always putting things on him because I knew they would believe me. So fast forward to a couple of days after the last incident between us. So I basically didn't know that he was planning me all this while. He had not reconciled with me yet fully in his mind. So I was just I can't remember what we were doing, but I know there was pear involved. You know that pear, that local pear in Nigeria that we use in eating corn. So I think we were both licking pear somewhere in our backyard. I can't remember exactly, but I remember holding pear in my hand. Anyway, so we're just there chilling jejely. Next thing, my brother was like, Edima, and I was like, yeah. He said, have you ever imagined why you don't look like anyone at home? I'm like, anyone at home, how? I was like, how? I was like, anyone, how? How don't I look like anyone? And meanwhile, before now, they had been telling me that I looked like my great-grandmom. Basically, I met my great-grandmom, my maternal great-grandmom. So I took most of her features, shape of face, hair. She had gray hairs. I started having gray hairs when I was like 5 years old. And like most of her features, skin color and everything. So I was like, what do you mean? I look like Iya. We used to call my great-grandmom Iya. So I was like, what do you mean I look like Iya? He was like, have you wondered why you don't look like mommy or daddy, but you look like Iya? I'm like, what do you mean? I was getting confused. He said honestly that he doesn't know how to tell me this, but he thinks it's just time that somebody will be honest with me. If I was like 7 years old, my brother was like 7, 8, 9, 10. He was like 10 years old. So yeah, he was like that he doesn't know how to tell me this, but I know he loves me very much and he just has to tell me the truth. I was like, I was getting nervous. I was like, what? Talk, like what's happening? He was like, anyways, that mommy and daddy are not my real parents. You see? He was like, yeah, I shouldn't make a scene, I should be quiet. And then I was such a crybaby. I was like, mommy and daddy are not my real parents. That let me just tell me the truth. That when I was a baby, my uncle found me somewhere in the bush. And then my uncle that he mentioned is a pastor. So like he was giving me like credible people that obviously should not lie. Like in my brain then I was like, okay, Uncle Simon is a pastor, so he found me in the bush. That my uncle went to farm. That I remember apparently my uncle used to be like a rough guy, then he now became a pastor. So he was like on one of the occasions when my uncle went to the bush to smoke. I don't even know like the story, or when he was doing something, I can't even remember, that my uncle found me as a baby in the bush. I had been abandoned somewhere. So he brought me back home to my parents. Obviously my uncle did not have like the financial capacity, because he was still a young guy then, to take care of me. So he brought me to my parents, and my parents accepted me and decided to take care of me from that day. They tried to look for who could have possibly been my parents, but they didn't find, so they took it upon themselves to take care of me, and they decided to keep it a secret. That then he was so small, he was like 2 years old. Okay, yeah, he was 3 years old when they brought me as a baby. So but then he remembers what happened, and then since then everybody in the family has decided to keep it a secret, that nobody is supposed to tell me, that please, he just wants me to know. I should not cry, I should not be sad or whatever. Like, he was just really telling me this story in a way that I was so confused. Meanwhile, before then, we had started watching Nollywood movies. So in my mind, like, what I knew, what Nollywood had taught me, if you find out that you're adopted, you need to cry first of all. Because as at that age, I did not even know how to feel, but I knew it was something that was supposed to be sad, that is supposed to make me cry. So I started bringing out tears from my eyes. I was so sad. I was so sad. Nollywood had taught me how to be upset. I was so sad. So I remember that in movies, that if you find out that your parents are not your parents, you're supposed to be angry with them. Then look for a way to go find your original parents, like your real parents. Then reunite with your real parents, run and meet them in slow motion. So in my head, as he was telling me this thing, I was kind of excited. In my head, I started calculating how I'm going to finally pack and leave this house that I've been wanting to live since. I'm going to pack my load, leave, enter bus, go and look for my parents. I don't know how old I thought I was. I was, you know, like when you're small, you're seeing yourself like you're this big girl. I don't know who I thought I was. I thought I was going to just pack my things, get into a bus, travel. Then as I'm traveling, I'll just be by the side, like by the window seat of the bus. Then I'll be looking out, crying with tears. My parents, they were not my real parents. So I had prepared my mind. I went inside. Meanwhile, at this point, my dad was home. Normally my dad usually isn't home, like he goes on and off, 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. So he will be with us for 2 weeks, then he travels for 2 weeks for work though. Then so my mom and my dad were home. So guys, my camera battery died, so I had to go charge and come back. You guys, the struggle. Meanwhile, I used the opportunity to refill. So I ate hot okra soup that I made yesterday. Don't ask me where my lipstick went. It's gone with the wind. Hope I don't have leaf or anything on my teeth. So yeah, let me continue the story. I cried, I was crying, I was really sobbing. So I had one small school bag. I went inside to pack my things into the school bag. I was really fantasizing. I came out with tears in my eyes, like I was trying to pass the bag, and I wanted to pass, you know, like when you're trying to be dramatic. So I wanted to pass where my parents will actually see that I'm leaving. So I passed where my dad was. My dad was wondering, like, where is this one going with bag and looking sad. He was like, hey, what is your problem? I was like, I'm leaving this house. I was like, what do you mean you're leaving? I'm like, I'm packing out. How could you guys not tell me that you are not my parents? You know, Nigerian movie, I was crying, sobbing, angry. My dad looked at me, I was like, come on, will you carry your things and get inside the house? I was like, no, I'm leaving this house. That's how I think my mom overheard us and came. So I remember my mom asking my dad what was going on. My dad just laughed and was like, he doesn't know what he's doing this one. That's how I was just standing there. My mom was like, hey, what's your problem? I was like, hey, this one that hates me. Honestly, I'm sure most of us, like growing up, you probably think your mom is not your mom, because you just, like, anybody that beats you or scolds you definitely is not your friend as a child. Like, they're not your favorite. Like, mostly our favorites are like those uncles or aunties that just buy us gifts and give us money. So my mom was definitely not my fave. So I was like, hey, this one, let me show her that I'm leaving this house today. I was like, I'm leaving, that they didn't tell me that they are not my parents and blah 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 blah. My mom almost actually slapped me. She was like, come on, get inside. So I was standing there crying that I want to go and look for my real parents, that they can't stop me. They did not even know what was happening, so they now asked me. They said, who are your real parents? I was like, that my brother just told me everything, that he has told me the truth and blah 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 blah. They were like, okay, what did your brother tell you? I just narrated everything, how they found me in the bush. These people were laughing like my my parents laughed. I almost fell on the floor. I was really confused at this point. I was like, what's going on here? Is it that they are not taking me seriously? Like, can't they see I'm leaving? Can't they see my bags are packed? That's how they now called my brother from inside. My brother was somewhere behind the door panicking. They called him. Now, what did you tell your sister? He said he did not tell me anything. Oh. Eh? I was shocked. I was like, he told me that people are not my parents and blah blah blah. That I know he's just scared, that's why he's denying. At this point, my parents were tired. They were like, okay, you're leaving, Abi, or you leave. So I carried my things, I walked, I got to the front door of the house. It was at that point it dawned on me that I have nowhere to go. I got there, I stood, I was like, wait, where am I going to go to? I have an auntie. She was like one of my favorite Auntie Veronica. I was like, I'm going to go to Auntie Veronica's house. But the next question was like, how am I going to get to Auntie Veronica's house? They always took me there. I never knew how to get there on my own. So I stood there. After a while, they were just looking at me passing. Normally, like my parents, like they were so like the situation was so humorous to them that they did not even beat my brother. On a normal day, they would have beaten him, but they were so shocked. I'm sure they were wondering, like, what was the reason, like, what was the motive? And then they just, like, they were too tired to face us. They just left us. Those are my sisters. Then, like, my sisters were like teenagers. Like, my older ones were like teenagers, so they were like inside the house. They hardly would come out. You know, they were going through all this teenage stage, so they don't really talk to you. They don't really play with you. They don't really talk to the parents, you know. So my sister came out and was like, asking her what's happening here. So I told my sister that I'm leaving, blah blah blah. That one just like none of them took me seriously. But now I actually get why they didn't take me seriously, because I was small. I was small and I wanted to leave the house. So like who has that time? Even me. Like if I was like an adult, then I'll be tired of that kind of child, or I'll be tired of that child at that point. Like, where do you think you're going? I got tired, I carried my things, I went back inside the house. So at my own time, like later in the evening, like I stayed there. I was still sad. I was waiting for somebody to, do you know, these people did not have my time. Nobody even came to assure me that I'm part of this family. Like, they didn't have my time. It was now later that I went to meet my dad. I was like, Daddy, that you should tell me the truth, that am I really his child? And my daddy just laughed and told me that I should stop that nonsense, that my brother is obviously just being a naughty human being, that I'm his child, he loves me, blah blah blah, that there is nothing, that there is nothing like my uncle picking me up from the bush. My dad went into my dad is a very careful person when he wants to explain this kind of things. He went inside, brought my birth certificate, showed it to me, told me the story. So yeah, he just showed me the certificate, my birth certificate. He told me the story surrounding my birth, and like at this point my mom and my dad were together, so my mom told me everything that happened. She brought me close to her body. She told me how she had prayed for a very beautiful daughter. I'm sure at that point she just wanted to make me feel as special as possible, but yeah, that was the real story. She said she prayed for a very beautiful daughter, and then she had me and everything. So she told me, like, she just told me like my birth story, the Bible verse that she prayed with while she was in labor, that basically she just told me my birth story. I don't want to go into that, but then yeah, that was when I was like, okay. They were now telling me that my brother was just joking, that he's just a child, he was just trying to get to me, because I'm sure they had interviewed him before then and like drilled him to understand the reason. Anyways, I later went back to my brother and he told me he was lying, that they were always treating me as if I'm the favorite and that kind of stuff. So he just wanted to hurt me, to make me feel bad and all that. So yeah, but that was far when we were kids, of course. Like, I'm sure he was feeling bad as at the way I used to accuse him of things, and they would believe me easily. I basically got all the reassurance from my parents that I'm not a foster child, I'm their child. And actually, now growing up, I actually look like my mom and my dad. Like as a child I didn't really look like them, but like right now I'm like a mixture of my mom and my dad. So now I believe that I'm their child. I believe they're Shabo. Like now there's like clearer evidence on my face and like my features that they're my parents. So that was how I found out I was foster and back into the family. And yeah, and I did not actualize my dreams of actually going in search of my parents. So yeah, so that's it guys for this story. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, whatever, family drama. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel if you're not, and check out my other story times. I already have like other story times on this channel, so please check that out as well. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and stick with me. Like this video, thumbs up this video if you like the story or whatever. Or do you have any experience like this where you actually wanted to go search for your parents? Because I feel like I've seen it a couple of times online where like people pack out, like when you were like a child you pack out and like you want to leave the house. So have you ever packed your things and you wanted to leave the house or anything like that? Please drop a comment down below, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next story. Subscribe, and yeah, love you. Mwah.